Hello everyone, welcome to sqadia.com. Today our lecture topic is the autonomic nervous system and visceral reflexes, and we are on the fourth part of this section, that is the parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. We will be covering what are the afferent and efferent fibers of the parasympathetic nervous system, what are the functions of parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system, and how it affects our body. As I just told you that it's called as the craniosacral outflow, while in case of sympathetic part is mainly the thoracolumbar outflow. The connector nerve cells of the parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system are located in the brainstem and sacral segments of the spinal cord. Those nerve cells located in the brain cells form nuclei in the following cranial nerves. They are basically oculomotor, which form the parasympathetic Erdinger-Westphal nucleus of the oculomotor nerve. We have superior salivatory nucleus and lacrimatory nucleus of the facial nerve. We have inferior salivatory nucleus of the glossopharyngeal nerve and dorsal nucleus of vagus nerve. These all nuclei of these nerves are actually parasympathetic. The fibers arising from these, their effect on the body is of the parasympathetic effect. So what are the afferent nerve fibers? Now, sacral connector nerve cells are found in the gray matter of the second, third, fourth segments of the spinal cord. Now, the other one outflow is from the cranium, as I just told you, from the nuclei of the four different nerves, while the second part is from the S2, S3, S4 level, that is basically from the sacrum. The myelinated afferent fibers are craniosacral outflow, are preganglionic, and synapse in the peripheral ganglia located close to the viscera they innervate. Now, there is no such thing as parasympathetic paravertebral change. That is only for the sympathetic part. What actually happens is the fibers which are coming out of the spinal cord, they go all the way toward the viscera and they synapse in the ganglia which are present near to the viscera, and they exert their autonomic effect via parasympathetic. In certain locations, the ganglion cells are placed in the nerve plexus. For example, there's a cardiac plexus in the heart, there's pulmonary plexus, there's a myenteric and orbix or mucinous plexus in the gut. So what actually is happening is, if you see the example of gut only, actually the myenteric and mucinous plexus is present in the different layers of the epithelium of the intestine. Even the sympathetic are also coming there in the synapses, but parasympathetic usually and always go towards the effector organ and synapse in the ganglia which are present on the effector organ. Now, this is example the afferent fibers of the parasympathetic part of the ANS. How are they formed? After myelinated nerve fibers travel from the viscera to the cell bodies located either on the sensory ganglia or the cranial nerves or in the posterior root ganglia and the sacrospinal nerve. The nerve endings in the autonomic nervous afferent component may not be activated as such sensations such as heat or touch, but rather by stretch or lack of oxygen. Once the afferent fibers gain entrance to the spinal cord or brain, they are thought to travel alongside or mixed with the somatic afferent fibers. Now, this is the blue part is the parasympathetic part. Now, if you see over here, this is the sympathetic paravertebral chain, but there is no such thing as parasympathetic chain. Rather, the fibers are arising from the different nerve, for example, vagus, glossopharyngeal, facial, and oculomotor nerve fibers. They go all the way, and there's this is a ciliary ganglion which is present in the eye. The fibers go all the way toward the synapse here, and then the post-ganglionic fibers actually arise, but these ganglia are lying in the viscera which they were being supplied. For example, the 9th and 10th are supplying the salivary glands and the parotid glands and some mandibular glands, while all these are also supplying the heart, lungs, stomach, small intestine, suprarenal gland, and all the small and large intestine, as well as the rectum and even the urogenital organs of the. But if you see over here, the some part of the large gut, urogenital organs are also supplied by the sacral outflow of the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's either from the cranium or the sacrum, and they go towards the viscera. Once they're near the ganglia which are near the viscera, they synapse there and form. After synapsing, the postganglionic fibers arise and then they exert their effect via a parasympathetic nervous system. And once there are synapses, there is actually a release of acetylcholine in case of a parasympathetic nervous system, while in case of a sympathetic nervous system, there is a release of adrenaline and noradrenaline in case of sympathetic nervous system. So what are the functions of the parasympathetic part of the nervous system? The activities of parasympathetic part of the autonomic system are directed towards conserving and restoring energy. As I just told you, for take it an example, or for example, just imagine that is the rabid dog is after you and you want to run away from the rabid dog. The system it would be helping you would be sympathetic nervous system. But you had a very good meal and you want to just relax and you have turned on the TV and you want to digest it now. And at this time, when you're relaxing and conserving energy, this time your parasympathetic functions of the parasympathetic part of the nervous system is actually activated, and this helps to so that your body can conserve and restore energy which has been drained. The heart rate slows, the pupils are constricted, you don't need it. The peristalsis and glandular activity is increased because now you've taken a very good meal and you need to digest that meal so that then you can extract energy from that. Sphincters are open, bladder wall is contracted, so you get relaxed. Yes, you can go to the bathroom, you can urinate, you can digest, and you can have a relaxing time now because all this is actually happening to the parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. By this, we have come to the end of our third section, that is the parasympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. We discussed the afferent and efferent fibers. We discussed the function of the parasympathetic nervous system and how it actually affects our body. Thank you very much. Keep watching sqadia.com.